Yo, what is happening guys? Kaijun here. Today I'm going to showcase a technique I've been experimenting with for a while, but I need to make sure it worked consistently before showcasing it. So I had to test it out over a variety of level ranges and areas in the game for invasions. That is called Wall Juking. It's a stealth technique to help evade ganks. So in order for this to work, you need these three rings: Slumbering, Drag Cross Ring, Untrue Dark Ring, and the Carter Smoke Ring. And you need to be below 30% equip load in order for this to work properly. This combination, along with the fashion, allows you to move like this, which I covered in a previous video. Now as for fashion, dark clothing works the best for this, obviously, since you're going to be, stealthy, because it allows you to hide like this in plain sight. Usually when you're hiding like this, many times phantoms will just run past you. So when a gank is chasing you, say they're coming from there and you're behind the wall, what you can do is this. Right as they're coming through this pathway here, you move like this right past them to get behind them, and then you head the opposite direction and completely evade them. That allows you to have breathing room to plan out your next, what you're going to do next. So that way you won't have like 4 people chasing you down like constantly, and they can't give you any break at all. So timestamps there on the screen. Enjoy. Now to put this in action, to see with your own eyes how this works. Okay, so we'll start with the first example here. It's a very light example. In this world I'm up against a blue, a phantom, and his host. So the blue comes by himself here, and he's using an ultra, so he does not pose much threat to us. So he's down, but immediately after, the host and his phantom is there. So I didn't want to fight them in that, small space. So I retreated further into the level. So as far as they're concerned, I went this way. They know that I did not go back. So I thought about what I was going to do here when they come forward, and instead I thought I will attempt to wall juke them here. As they come along the bridge, I will slip past them, get behind them, and attack from behind. Because as far as they're concerned, I'm over on this side. They wouldn't think that I would come behind them. So we wait. As we can see here, they come along the bridge, and we slip right past them, get behind them, leaves the host completely open, get a free hit, and we move back. Alright, let's see that again in slow motion. So you see, very carefully, I slip past them. They don't notice at all, and I get behind them. The host is open, I hit him, I do not overextend, and I retreat. We vanish, get away from them. We hope that they would chase us again, so we can use another wall to trick them again, but they did not. I waited a bit to see if they would still pursue me, but they didn't. So I went after them. So they're busy here with the enemies here. I attacked from nowhere, and from here on out it was a pretty straightforward, gang spank. With the enemy keeping them distracted, I'm able to simply eliminate the phantom there. So the host is by himself, and naturally, as many hosts do, they panic, and as a result of panic, they die. And that was GG.
That was perfect.
So I noticed the host there standing at the edge with a blue protecting him. We are able to sneak by easily and knock the host off. So that leaves the host alone by himself with those enemies. We keep the blue busy, and another blue comes in. So both blues are focused on us. Now keep in mind the host is still down there alone against the bugs that inflict bleed. So our job here is to simply distract the blues and keep them focused on us while we survive their attacks. And they seem to not care about the host at all, which baffles my mind when I did this invasion. They are completely desperate to take me down. So I dance with them for a bit, keep them busy. This is also a bit of a demonstration why I love fast roll so much with quickstep. It allows you to move around ganks so much better than usual. Look at that. As long as I play safe, I have complete control over that fight. Of course I make mistakes, but you get the idea. So I decide enough is enough. I need to disengage. So I head down the stairs, which leads back outside. And this right here, here it goes, the Wall Juke. They come to chase me, I slip right past them, head the opposite direction. And lo and behold, I have completely disengaged. They have no idea where I went. Look at that. The blue is completely confused. And he heads back outside. Looking back at this in slow motion, you can see I head behind this wall and the two blue phantoms are heading right this way. You roll into the wall first, then roll past them almost as if rolling into them, but it's more along their side, and you just head the opposite direction. Now, I had a buff effect on me from the Sieg Brow. Basically, when you do this technique, you want to make sure you don't have any buffs on you, because the buffs are visible even when you roll. I was lucky there that the phantoms weren't paying much attention, but against a 4-man gang squad, you generally want to make sure you are completely invisible on the roll, so do not use buffs. So while the blues were busy looking for me outside, the host has been getting wrecked by the bugs alone. So by the time the blues, get to the host, it was already too late. And that's GG. We did our job. So right off the bat in this example, we are up against a full 4-man gang squad, as you will see in just a moment here. It was a rough place to spawn, like spawning right next to the Sunbro here. It wasn't a good time, so I needed to think fast. When I saw that blue, seeing all 4 of them, I had to use the technique here. And as you can see, I slipped past all of them, I reposition, hide in plain sight, and give myself some breathing room to assess the situation. Alright, looking back at this in slow motion, as you can see, even against 4 people in the heat of chaos, you can still use this technique to your advantage. All 4 of them had no idea I just slipped past them like that. You see, most gang squads, and most, not all, they don't really think that much. They just want to rush down the invader because they feel safe with their numbers. But with a technique like this, the whole game changes, the whole mindset changes, because you can maintain the element of surprise. So I waited a bit here to get my bearings while trying to figure out how to deal with this 4-man gang squad. But then they got the attention of the other invader. They are still oblivious to my presence, but then I noticed someone using the elevator, who I assume was the host using the untrue white ring. I was going to help my invader friend, but seeing that damage, I took my chances to deal with the host instead. So as I pull up the elevator, I think what happened here was the host tried to run back into it, but since the elevator was already moving up, he simply fell to his death. And that was GG.
Wait. Did you fall off the elevator?
Alright, we have come to the end of this video pretty much, although there are two honorable mentions to make. Firstly is the Obscuring Ring. Now the Obscuring Ring is an excellent tool to have for any invader, obviously, but it is not necessary for this setup and technique in particular. If, however, you are using a build that doesn't need the Prisoner's Chain as your 4th ring slot, and you have that 4th ring slot free, by all means put in the Obscuring Ring, because the Obscuring Ring combined with this setup can do some amazing things. The other thing to mention is the Hidden Body spell. Now a lot of people think that the Hidden Body spell is the go-to thing for stealth, and while it is good, it is not great on its own. It needs to be complemented by other things. So if you're using Hidden Body with this build, with this setup, along with the Obscuring Ring, that's pretty much the ultimate stealth build right there. You can do some crazy stuff with that. Aside from that, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like or subscribe, or leave a comment in the comment section below. And with that, I bid you farewell. We will meet again.